What do you think? Like one of the things that we always discuss here on GHH and be expanding in further in Safe House is some of the things that are unique to the Black American male experience. What are some of the things that are unique to the Black woman experience in America?
Maybe like our hair.
Okay.
This whole like the Crown Act, and it's so funny to me that you can go in spaces where it's frowned upon and discouraged, for you to rock your hair the way it grows out of your head. You know what I mean? Like this whole idea of, straight hair being better. And, I've seen so many girls who, they get a new job, they was Sister Soldier just the day before, then all of a sudden they got hair down their back and it's all silky straight and everything because they like, oh, I don't, I got a new job. And it's like the fact that you have to change the very core of who you are to appease a job, and let's not forget this is an at-will state, which means they can let you go at any time. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like
okay.
you totally transform your whole identity and your whole look based on a job.
So it's almost like as a Black woman, a lot of times you can't necessarily show up as who you like naturally are for no other reason than steer. I'll tell you what I have seen a couple times before is a Black woman, maybe there was one who was a teacher and she had on an outfit and
she was voluptuous.
Yeah, and
that's
that was the only thing that made that's the only thing that made the outfit, because I imagine, I was like, okay, if she wasn't curvy, would the outfit be inappropriate? It wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be. No, I'm just there's some certain women, like, it doesn't matter. She can have on a brown paper bag. She bad. You know what I mean?
Most
she
definitely.
got body, and it don't matter what she put on. She can't hide it. So you just gonna have to be okay with that. And I hate that women, who are blessed to be as voluptuous as that woman. I remember that teacher and everything. Like they're objectified, they're sexualized, and it's just like she can't help it.
Yeah, that was.
She can't help it. But if another girl showed up, if Becky showed up,
I knew you was gonna say Becky.
Season 2 of Gentlemen's History Hour is sponsored by HueRepublic.com. HueRepublic.com. Go to HueRepublic.com and get the latest colors to rep your hue. Gentlemen's History Hour, Season 2.
And we're back with a special episode of Gentlemen's History Hour. I have a special guest, Mrs.
Seneca Dunmore,
Seneca
also known as
Dunmore.
the Pint Sized Power House.
Leave a brother hanging. You know what I'm saying? It's National Women's Day. Is it?
You so extra.
I'm sorry. It is not National Women's Day. It is Women's History Month.
Yeah.
And on GHH, we love to give people the facts. So it began in 1978 on March 8th as Women's History Day. In 1980, the National Women's Alliance pushed for it to become a week. And in 1987, in women fashion, they turned this thing into a month. So,
put some respect on our month.
Yeah, and it's something, much needed and definitely a great thing to celebrate. Something very interesting is that, like, I didn't know of this until about like 2 years ago. I was sending happy Women's Day text to people. They were like, thanks. So, when did you become familiar with Women's History Month?
Really, honestly, probably when the pandemic started.
Okay.
Seriously, I don't remember ever seeing like Women's History Month until like a couple of years ago. It seemed like it became this thing then.
Yeah.
About a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I thought same thing. I thought it was basically just some women just got together and just said we're gonna make it this month. I thought it started in like 2015.
Yeah.
So, but again, it is something though that is a great thing to study. I think in the words of the great Tupac Shakur, since we all came from a woman, got our name from a woman, and our game from a woman, I think studying women, learning the unique experience, particularly of Black women, and also edifying women, is something that it benefits not only women but us as men too.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, but I want to start by asking you, like, who are some women that inspired you just growing up and in your journey?
I think I was surrounded by a lot of great women. You know, my mom is very poised and such a lady. I'm more like my dad.
Definitely.
And that I'm more outspoken, more outgoing, and but you know, my sisters are dope. All of us are, you know, very educated women. My oldest sister was like the first real doctor that I came in contact with. My sister went to med school and became a doctor. Now her daughter is in med school in her 4th year. So yeah, I was surrounded by a lot of just amazing women. I remember my coach in middle school and high school. You know, I was always a part of sports and activities and things like that. So I just think being surrounded by, you know, a tribe of really dope, inspiring and motivated, disciplined women was just a part of my, you know, my lot in life.
And now that you say that too, you know, as the world is changing and there's so many things out there, like you described, like your upbringing as having this tribe and having, you know, your mother and sisters and things like that. What are some of the elements that you think a black girl, as she grows from a little girl to a woman, what are some of the things that you think she needs to be equipped to operate in this world, be a success in this world?
A father.
Okay.
I mean, well, you know, again, shout out to all the single moms out there doing it by themselves, you know what I mean? But I could not imagine life without my father. There were just certain things that I never had to worry about or think about because I had a man in the house.
Nice.
Right? So, you know, growing up in Sunnyside was considered the 6th most dangerous neighborhood in America at one point. But it was like there was a level of insulation and protection that I had, right? So there were, you know, the dope boys didn't bother us. The hustlers didn't bother us because they knew my dad kept 9-10 guns in the house. So it was just a lot of things that didn't come to my doorstep as a result of having that male presence in the house.
You know, it is, and this isn't my opinion. This is actual study I was reading, that a woman's identity, a lot of that is naturally formed by her relationship with her father in most cases.
Absolutely. I think they say 80 to 90% of a woman's self-esteem comes through her father, not her mother.
Wow, and that's an interesting thing. And even in, this may be unfortunate, but it's just the truth. Even as men growing up, when you meet a woman who comes from a tribe that has some strong men in it, you not that you're gonna do something mischievous to a woman who doesn't, but there's a certain when you know that person is cared for and that person is important to a tribe, by default it makes her important to you, especially in the community. And that protection and that backbone and that also that example. I think one of the things that has come up a lot in the narrative is how the effect of maybe fathers not being there, the effect that it's had on men. And I don't deny that, but I think that it's only fair when a lot of times when we talk to women, like, what about the effect that it had on you? You've never seen a man preside over a house. You've never seen a man solve a problem. You've never seen a man in an emergency come through. So your esteem for a man is going to naturally, if you've always seen a woman do it, then you probably won't think too highly of a man. I mean, I think it's worked in my favor and against me in the dating world. Because there was just certain things, like I remember, this guy cussing me out because I didn't know how to change my own tire. Cussing you out? That's
Dude was like living behind that. He was just like, you don't know how to change your own tire. What if something happens? And I was like, nigga, I got brothers and daddies at home. What do I look like changing a tire? So, and excuse me for the profanity, but no.
Hey, no, I mean, and that's real, and I can say honestly, like, hey, these are the hands of a poet and a philosopher, but one time a shorty called me on the side of the road. Rob, I'm stuck. I came through. I look like Denzel and it's raining on my side. Hey, I felt like I felt good about my manhood that day, you know. Women don't need to know how to change a tire. I mean, hey, women need to be in a situation where if a tire it goes down, you know, somebody can be called.
I mean, that's great if you know how to do it, but I have no desire to change a tire. I have no desire to learn how to change a tire. You know, it's like as long as AAA keeps showing up, as long as I got a daddy and brothers and uncles and, you know, good men around me, there's just certain things that I do not as a woman want to do. And I'm just very honest about that.
I feel that. And hey, you know, and the way Rob J, the 10X field, don't put this on the EQ, don't put this on the Sav. 10X support the gender roles. I don't want my daughter out cutting the yard while my son is inside washing dishes. That don't work.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
that's
I
not
get it.
That old dog don't hunt. You know, so you know, I'm from that old school. You know, but in your lifetime, do you feel like the opportunities, or what have you seen change that you would, you know, something noticeable in how women's stature or opportunity today versus when you were coming up?
In terms of like how women operate in their femininity, or
maybe in terms of like opportunities as a brand, being recognized and that type of thing.
Well, I think there's a lot more opportunities out there for women. I think, you know, there's this whole thing of women being just as capable as men. But I think people confuse roles with equality. Like, I don't think most women want to be equal to a man.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she doesn't want, there's certain things like she don't want to do what he does. But again, when it comes to like, yeah, I want to be paid the same if we're doing the same type of job and things like that. But like, you know, again, I ain't trying to change a tire, you know.
Yeah. You know, the thing about it is, I actually disagree with you. I do believe that there is a level of equality in the sense that I don't believe, you know, just my personal faith or whatever. I don't believe that, you know, a Most High values a man higher than he values a woman.
No, I don't think that at all.
But one thing I don't believe though, I don't believe that equality means same.
Well, that's the thing. And I think most people think equality means same, and it does not.
Yeah, and that causes a lot of problems, you know.
Yeah.
And one of my boys, he has this joke. He said, you know, Rob, you know why women get paid less than men? And I said, come on, man, it's gonna be bad. He said because she gets 2 checks, hers and her man's. And that's like that's how he felt about it. And where we're going today is, you know, things have changed, and it's some of that old school thinking has you know, modernized. And at the same time, I think there are things that are unique to the black woman experience as there are things unique to the black man experience.
Oh, for sure.
You know, one thing that I personally despise is when people say that ain't nothing changed. You know, we still in this. I'm like, brother, when the last time you got attacked by a dog? You know, what march did you go on? Like, did the KKK come to your neighborhood and burn a house up? So I despise the that sentiment, as well as the calling us slaves today. You know, we're not, you know, slaves don't get paid $2.8 million on average to, you know, run footballs. But the position of women today in comparison to where you all came from, what changes do you have? And I'm not trying to get you to see it my way and say that you've seen some changes.
Right.
It's the same, whatever.
Yeah, well, I do think things have changed. I mean, when you talk to some of the older women, like, you know, who were at home and raising kids and, you know, having 15, 20 kids. I mean, you rarely see that anymore, right? Because most women are in the workforce, making their own money, doing their own things. So, yeah, things have changed in terms of that relationship dynamic, that kind of gender dynamic. But I definitely think it's changed for the better, but there's also been some drawbacks with it, you know, because I think sometimes this whole idea of the independent, strong black, like, I despise that shit on so many levels. Like, again, I you know, I am a strong woman, I am a black woman, I am very independent, but like that whole idea of like, you can do it all by yourself, you're expected to do it all by yourself, like, you know what I mean? Like, so that I don't like.
You know, I think what's happened is as women have expanded in their capabilities and opportunities and being able to do almost whatever they want. One thing that has left in a lot of households is polarity. And, you know, when you don't have polarity, you have two people that the magneticism starts leaving, because there's no yin and yang. It's yin and yin. You know, we both work here, we both do that, and I think that is causing, you know, some. I feel like that might be causing some frustration. Also, one thing that I do think is tragic is that the housewife is no longer celebrated as the backbone of a family, and that, you know, my grandmother, you know, 95 years old, God bless her. Hey, I love you, Grandma. She never worked a day in her life. Yeah. But the family would not be the family without her.
Yeah, without her contributions and being there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like now that's almost looked at as a come up. You know, okay, you don't have to work because you got this.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and that was never the case before this generation. Like, and I think that role. I don't know. How do you feel about the way they're viewed today? Or
yeah, I see a lot of that. I think it's sad because, yeah, I do know women who like never worked a day in their life. Like, you know, the man held it down, he paid all the bills, and, you know, they raised the kids and did the cooking and the cleaning and all that. And again, I think you have to find out what works in your household, and if that's what you want, then that's a good thing, you know. I do feel like a lot of women are looked at as like, oh, she's she looking for the come up, she looking for the meal ticket, she a gold digger if she wants to just sit at home and raise kids. You know, if she just wants to be the supportive woman who just, you know, supports her husband and his business and takes care of the kids when they come home, and, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I don't think anything's wrong with that either. And I think men, as I'm starting to talk to different men from different walks of life, and learning about different styles of marriage, it's really opened my eyes, because losing the polarity took marriage from something that was, you know, pretty much had a kind of a general code that most marriages operated by, to being something, you know, almost like a program, and depending on what household, you know, the rules change. And but I'll tell you one thing that a guy said that was really interesting to me. He was like, you know, my wife is not like super intelligent. My wife is not a person who's the most studious. And when I met her, I mean, she was cool. I thought she was, you know, all right. But it wasn't until we got in the house that I fell in love with this woman. He said, because once we got in the house, I never had to move. Like, the dishes were there. This woman treated me like a king and celebrated me in a way that I never had been celebrated before. And he was like, I realized, like, I want that type of wife. I don't want a lawyer that's coming home. I like, and I was like, wow, you know, it's just, you know, that's old school. You know,
and I think you have to figure out what works for you, because I think a lot of men would like that, but then I know guys who just like, they want someone who's bringing in a certain amount of money into the household and stuff like that. So I just think you have to know what works best for you. Because I've been in situations like, I remember I was very transparent with a guy that I was dating, and I was just like, listen, I'm not going to be the woman who's going to be at home with kids all day. Yeah. That's just, I'm never going to be her. Do I want kids? Absolutely. You know, do I want that home life and stuff like that? But I also want the things that I want as well. I still want to travel. I still like my business. I still want to do now there is room for compromise. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be doing all of these things all of the time. There's going to be times where I'm like, okay, well, you know, I need to be at home. I can't travel as much, but this whole idea of like me giving my life up completely to be married.
So like, and see, that's the.
I'm not that chick.
My Aunt Melanie, she asked me a great question one day because I was talking to her about, basically her parents, my grandparents, and I was asking her like, do you think, Granddad could have done what he was able to do without his clothes being ironed, his kids being taken care of, him being able to be
right,
yeah. And she said, she actually answered that with a good talk. She said, and I got a question for you. Who is the wife's backbone? Who does the wife have to be the wife? And I was like, dang, that was a real poignant question that it brought a certain empathy that I didn't really have before because I never thought about that. Who does the wife have to? Your stuff is ironed, your stuff is there, the plane ticket is bought, you have to be there. And I think again though, as we becoming a little bit more of the same, it's creating some challenges because we're stepping into a territory that we've never been in before.
Yeah.
We've never lived this way where where we were building families while building careers, and both of us were going out and getting the bacon. And then it starts causing a lot of, I guess you could say, a lot of different viewpoints and dogma as to how things should be. Because if I'm making $50,000 and you're making $50,000 hypothetically, and the rent is $1,500 a month, we both make the same amount of money. Should we both pay $750? That's how certain guys are looking at it, and while other guys are like, hey, the traditional way still works. So it's so much fluidity.
It is.
Hey, Rob J, look, hey, I'm a lion in the house. I'm paying that 100 because when I get there, I'm gonna talk the way I want to talk. Yeah. I'm gonna say, so if I pay that 50, I might only get 50 submission. I need 100. So
that's fair.
I need 100% submission.
That's fair.
Because when I call these plays, the play got to get executed. It's not no democracy. It's only gonna be one quarterback in the huddle. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
I'm a head coach, but I will listen to my coordinator. If you see something, I will console with receive counsel. But
and that's where it should be. Yeah, I think it can only be one lion in the house. It can only be one king in the house.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think but I think just there's always going to be like an involuntary side effect that comes from anything productive. If all of the world decided like we're going to all be intelligent scholars now, there would a problem would happen. Wait, hold up. Now we need something. There's always something that indirect from any movement, but. As a black woman, how do you feel about the segmenting, so to speak, now when you all are addressed? It seems to me, as a man, almost as if black women, at least in the media, have become like their own ethnicity. Black women are doing this. Black women are, whereas I don't really see black people collectively celebrated as much anymore. I could be biased, seeing it from a man's view, but just
no, I could see that there is a lot of attention on black women in our contributions and what we're doing and all the strides that we're making, and sometimes that does drown out this whole collective narrative of black man and black woman. Yeah. So yeah, I can see that.
What do you think? Like one of the things that we always discuss here on GHH and be expanded in further in Safe House is some of the things that are unique to the black American male experience. What are some of the things that are unique to the black woman experience in America?
Maybe like, our hair.
Okay.
This whole, like the Crown Act. And, it's so funny to me that, you can go in spaces where it's frowned upon and discouraged, for you to rock your hair the way it grows out of your head. You know what I mean? Like this whole idea of, straight hair being better. And, I've seen so many girls who, they get a new job, they was Sister Soldier just the day before, then, you know, all of a sudden they got, you know, hair down their back and it's all silky straight and everything because they like, oh, I don't, you know, I got a new job. And it's like the fact that you have to change the very core of who you are to appease a job, you know, and let's not forget this is an at-will state, which means they can let you go at any time, you know what I mean?
Yes,
like
okay.
you totally transform your whole identity and your whole look based on a job.
So it's almost like, as a black woman, a lot of times you can't necessarily show up as who you like naturally are for no other reason than steer. I'll tell you what I have seen a couple times before is, you know, a black woman, maybe there was one who was a teacher and she had on an outfit and
oh yeah, she was voluptuous.
Yeah, and
that's
that was the only thing that
say.
that's the only thing that made the outfit, because I imagine, I was like, okay, if she wasn't curvy, would the outfit be inappropriate? It wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be. No, I'm just there's some certain women, like, it doesn't matter. She can have on a brown paper bag. She bad. You know what I mean?
Most
she
definitely.
got body, and it don't matter what she put on. She can't hide it. So you just gonna have to be okay with that. And I hate that women, you know, who are, you know, blessed to be as voluptuous as that woman. I remember that teacher and everything. Like they're objectified, they're sexualized, you know, and it's just like she can't help it.
Yeah, that was.
She can't help it. You know, but if another girl showed up, you know, if Becky showed up,
I knew you was gonna say Becky. I knew. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely.
With the same outfit on, and because she doesn't have the same curves, then all of a sudden it's appropriate for her to wear it, but it ain't, you know.
I definitely, I understand that, because I saw that and I felt like the same sentiment. What's something that you enjoy the most about being a black woman?
Everything. Just the way we show up, like the way we show up in the world, and the way we just, like, we make it happen. Like, it ain't too much that's gonna hold us down. We gonna figure a way. We gonna figure out how to make it happen. We gonna figure out how to get it done. I just love that about us. So yeah.
You know, I'll say on Mace's first album, there's an intro to a song and Puff says, "'Cause you out with your girl, and little do they know, she rolls harder than some of your brothers." I've seen a strength in some women that is like, damn. Like, where I've seen, like, really go through, you know, I had a web client, was running a business, had a special needs son, lost the son while opening a new location.
Wow.
And a smile on her face the whole time. And I think one of the things one of the things about black women that I admire, and I don't want this to be you all's identity, but I admire the ability to do this, because I think as men we should be able to do this, is a black woman can be going through the worst storm or whatever in her life and pull up to work and be crying, and then pull that mirror down, fix up her face, put that makeup on, and walk in there like a stoic Navy SEAL and handle business and park that shit she's dealing with until she can get back to it.
Yeah.
And like that, I really admire that. You know, I really admire that ability to, that resolve to be able to, okay, this is what it is. Now we gotta act.
Yeah.
You know,
I think a lot of women, black women, have been socialized to be that way, because I don't think we have the space to, especially at work, right? Mm-hmm. We don't have the space to be vulnerable, to cry, to, you know. Yeah. We don't get that same luxury. There was a young lady I was watching on. It's been going viral. I'm pretty sure y'all probably seen it, where she's been talking about, you know, she's talking to these two white women, and she's just like, listen, you know, we cry. Ain't anybody running to black women, you know, and asking us what's wrong and what happened, versus, you know, if a white woman was to do the very same thing, it's like the whole world runs to her rescue to see, oh, you know, what is wrong? What happened? And so I think we've been socialized to be that way, and I think it helps us, but then it hurts us at the same time, because I think there's certain things that we're carrying that we were never even designed to carry.
Man, that's definitely true. And
yeah, there's like a certain level of strength that we shouldn't even have to enforce, so to speak, right? Because
Yeah.
we don't have that soft place to land a lot of times, to be vulnerable and to kind of rest in our femininity, which is, very unfortunate. And that is not all situations, because I definitely think like my mom got to rest in her femininity every day of her life, you know. And there's a lot of women who have, but there's a lot more Black women who I don't think get to explore that side of themselves.
Yeah, I can honestly say my mom harder than me. My mom way harder. Like, 'cause my mom had to be hard. Mm-hmm. So, she could do things on a spot that I would have to think about. Like, man, wow.
Yeah.
If it's it's the winter storm and our house is pitch black for 4 or 5 days, and no, don't worry about coming here. Just stay where you at. I'm like, man, you're in a pitch black house. With
wow.
no air, like just my mom was like has immense strength. But to your point, if we trace back the etymology of where that strength comes from, that strength comes from tragedy, pain, things. One of my wishes, sometimes when my mom happy and she in a good mood, I hear her laugh, and she got this unique laugh, like I can hear it across the house.
Yeah.
I love when I hear my mom laughing. Well, my only wish sometimes is I wish my mom got to be a little girl longer. Because when she laugh, I like, oh man, I just love hearing her because it's such a beautiful laugh.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
But I know women a lot of times have to grow up so fast and things of that nature. Before we wrap up, I guess we could close with, what's something that you wish that maybe men knew about women or learned about women, that could make us better, in our interactions with you?
I think just really, because women like just pay attention a little bit more.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Just paying attention.
Just being more, just being more engaged, just paying attention a little bit more. Because sometimes it's not what she says, it's what she's not saying. That's more important.
One thing I learned, just recently over the past year or two, is I'm speaking dating while a woman, as you're saying, you can never give a woman too many compliments. Hey, beautiful.
No, you can never.
Hey, beautiful. Hey, I try to find new ways to say it. Hey.
No, you can never compliment her enough.
Yeah.
She ain't gonna ever get tired of that.
Yeah, I got a new nickname for you. How does she do it? You know what I'm saying? So, appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? As you're part of the early adopter too. Been a great supporter, watching it, and now to have.
Oh yeah, I watch all the shows.
That's great. So it was a pleasure having you, and happy Women's History Month to all the women out there. Gentlemen's History Hour, Rob J.
Seneca Dunmore.
If you're watching this on YouTube, man, hey, y'all, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. This is Gentlemen's History Hour.